here. Maybe that's better. Hi everybody, and sorry I've been MIA for a little bit. I just wanted to reach back out. I've had a couple of questions and sleep consults that I've been working on lately that really focus on daytime sleep versus nighttime sleep. So I wanted to take the time to address how naps develop, what they look like in the first year, and just make sure that we can go over it in an understanding that you can better bring to your home and help out with naps in your home. So one of the things that I'm asked about a lot is just that when it comes to daytime sleep, how long should a nap be? Where should the nap be? And for those things, it's really important that we take it and we segment it out per age group. So I want to just start from the very beginning with a newborn baby, and you have a baby, let's say right from birth all the way until about 4 months old. And the truth between these segments of this little age group is that the sleep isn't quite structured enough to have a structured daytime nap. And I know that's going to be against some other sleep consultants' belief system, but I want to explain why I approach naps the way that I do. When it comes to the development of sleep in the first 12 weeks alone, we're just working about the circadian rhythms and how we can get into that deeper rest and repair sleep at nighttime, and then how the babies can have more activity during the daytime. So you're going to have a separation of day and nighttime sleep in the first 12 weeks at least that is underdeveloped. Baby just doesn't really understand the difference between day and nighttime sleep, so at that point in time it's going to be pretty equal between days and nights. As sleep starts to develop a little bit better in the nighttime and we have those longer stretches, baby's not having bowel movements at nighttime, and we're getting a natural separation from day and nighttime sleep, that pairs perfectly with the development of the circadian rhythms going in 3 phases at birth, 8 weeks old and 12 weeks old. So these two systems will match each other up, and what we'll understand is that nighttime sleep, as it developmentally progresses, will become deeper rest and repair, and daytime sleep is complementary to nighttime sleep. So those naps will go from being equal day and night to more nighttime sleep, a little bit less daytime sleep, and you'll still have 5-6 naps, 20 minutes to 60 minutes. They're going to be frequent and small because this is a slow developing system, and you have to understand that it's going to happen one stage at a time. So birth to 4 months, your daytime sleep should just pair in a complement to your nighttime sleep, knowing that nighttime sleep is your number one focus and daytime sleep is supposed to support nighttime sleep. Always follow sleepy cues and make sure that when you're trying something difficult, you only try it 1 time a day. So my first tip is to make sure that when you are trying crib sleeping and you're trying to get 1 longer stretch of sleep in the daytime, make sure you're just doing it 1 time a day. Not every nap has to be in the crib. There can be naps on the chest, there can be naps on the body, there can be stroller naps, car ride naps. It's about making sure that the whole time period you're getting some sleep to support nighttime. A switch that goes on and off in the brain between 6, 8, and 12 weeks. Oh, Angela, so what happens is there's these 3 stages of development with the circadian rhythms, and it's more a hormonal change, and it's also something where the body is just going to feel that there's a deeper rest and repair sleep at nighttime. So weeks 8 is stage 2 of circadian rhythms. That gets us into deeper and rest and repair sleep, and then stage 3, which is around 12 weeks, brings us back out of it. So honestly, the scariest time for SIDS is between 2.5 months old and 4.5 months old, because there's this developmental graduation that babies are going through, or milestone that they're going through, where they can get to deeper sleep, but they can't quite get back out of it until they get to their 3rd stage of their circadian rhythms, developing around 12 weeks. So I like to keep a feed in the nighttime during that segment because it's very helpful for keeping the baby's body from going to too deep of sleep and not coming back out of it. That's a totally different sleep training tip on the side. But when it comes to naps, there's going to be the nighttime sleep is going to become more structured. We're going to have solid consecutive hours of nighttime sleep where your baby is going to bed, let's say 8 or 9 o'clock at night, sleeping through till 7 or so in the morning, and we have that pretty consistently. You have a lot of families who will tell you, oh, my baby slept really good around 3 months old and then had a 4-month sleep regression. And a 4-month sleep regression is really just a very large growth spurt where calories increase. So naps also change when that time period happens, because we have so many hours of nighttime sleep, we don't have 5-6 hours of daytime sleep anymore. It's going to be a total between day and night. So let's say we have 14 total hours of sleep, and we're consuming 10 of them at nighttime, we only have 4 more left in the daytime, and that has to be spread out for the entire day so that baby can manage good energy and maintain the entire day without getting too drowsy or overtired or underslept, things like that. So you'll probably still have 4 naps at that time period. And then if we move on to the next stage, which is where I'm going to get more questions, this is usually when sleep really starts to become a bigger challenge because there's a little bit more that goes into it. So between 4 months and 6 months old, we have a 2-month time span where the naps are trying to consolidate, but it's a slow system. It happens really gradually. So one day baby will sleep an hour and a half, the next day only 45-minute naps. Next day we're jump back up to hour and a half naps, but this is slowly getting them closer to the 6-month time frame where then we really are having more consistent longer naps. So we're consolidating some of those naps together. We're reducing down from 5 a day to 3 a day, but that takes a couple of months to get there. It's not like nighttime sleep where you can get a baby sleeping 8 to 10 hours in the nighttime within just 3 to 5 nights. Most of my sleep training I do is just 3 to 5 nights and they're sleeping through the night. When you're meeting their needs in the daytime, it's very easy to put a plan in place at nighttime. Just think of meeting your basic survival needs: food, your activity, and your total sleep. And when those 3 pillars are met, then nighttime sleep can become much easier. But the daytime's a little bit more complicated because it takes babies more time to consolidate down to having those consistent naps morning, afternoon, evening. And that's pretty normal naps for a baby once they get to 6 months old. They'll have a morning nap that is typically equal to an afternoon nap. Let's say they're both an hour and 15 minutes. And then they still need that little power nap in the evening around 6 or 7 p.m. to maintain a later bedtime. A lot of my babies are going to bed at 6 p.m. That's normal. The sun is setting. It's telling those circadian rhythms that, oh, it's getting dark. It's nighttime. If we can just remember, circadian rhythms are only light and dark. The only way the brain processes sleep at that age is the sun up or is the sun down? But to go to bed at 6 p.m., there's no way they're going to sleep 12 and 13 hours till 6 and 7 a.m. Not most babies. Sure, if you have a big sleeper and that big sleeper sleeps 15 or 16 total hours in the daytime, they can sleep 12 at nighttime and they can still have 3 or 4 left for the daytime. But most babies are not sleeping that many hours in a 24-hour period. They're sleeping more like 14 hours, 13 and a half hours. So we can only give 10 to the nighttime. We need to save 3.5 hours for the daytime. And with that being said, around 6 months old, they're usually pretty equal. So you have morning nap about an hour and 15 to 30, afternoon nap about an hour and 15 to 30, and then your evening nap is not supposed to be in the crib. So that's the power nap is meant to maintain good energy, reset the nervous system. Think about the witching hour. Everybody kind of teases about this witching hour. Oh my goodness, my baby is miserable at 6 p.m. and I have to put him to bed. Well, what's happening to them on a physiological level is that the sun is coming down, so they feel tired. They're a little bit overwhelmed. The day is coming to an end, and their nervous system is not able to reset itself, so they are overwhelmed. The best thing that you can do is lay them on your chest, take some really deep cleansing breaths to make sure you reset their nervous system, and let them have a 20-30 minute power nap, and they will make it till an 8 p.m. bedtime, no problem. They just need a little bit of a reset to help them get there. Otherwise, if you try to keep them awake from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. during the witching hour, it will be a really difficult 2 hours where they're just fussy and grumpy and irritable. I try to put words to this for an adult to understand a little bit better. Is like when you come home from work and you've had a long day of work, the one thing you want to do when you go in your home is like, take off your shoes, put on your slippers, sit down and just take a minute to just acclimate. Like you just need to reset. You went from work, you're home, you just need to calm down a minute. And then you're able to manage the rest of the night. You can cook dinner, you can hang out, you can shift completely from your working life to your home life, but it takes a little bit of a transition. Babies don't have the words to explain that to you, but they need the same thing. In the evening, they need to like, okay, I need a quick reset to manage the rest of my evening, and then I can have a bedtime and sleep through the night. So daytime naps when it comes to a 6-month to a 9-month-old baby is going to be a gradual consolidation down to 2 naps. So first we went from 4, 5, 6 naps a day from birth till 4 months old. 4 months old to 6 months old, we're slowly moving down to just 3 naps a day. And then from 6 months to 9 months old, same thing, slowly moving down to 2 naps a day. It's just really hard when you think this takes like 3 months to do. And the way that it happens every week is one day they do it, 2 days they don't. One day they do it, 2 days they don't. And this will go on for a long period of time, so it's really hard to track. My best possible piece of advice is just to follow sleepy cues and calculate total hours of sleep per day. I should say 3 tips. Follow sleepy cues, count total hours of sleep per day, and make sure that you're practicing anything difficult only once a day, which means you're only doing 1 crib nap a day if that's a difficult nap. So from 6 to 9 months, dropping down to 2 naps, they're still going to be equal. They just usually don't need the power nap in the evening anymore. Usually they're going to shift. So instead of being wake up time at 6 a.m. and first nap by 8 a.m., we're going like 9 a.m. And then the evening one moves a little bit, so they don't need the power nap in the evening because their naps are equally set in the daytime to manage good energy from morning till bedtime. And then we graduate from 9 months to a year old, and you're going to stay pretty consistent, just 2 naps a day, very equal naps. And once we get from a 1-year-old to an 18-month-old, we start to come down to just 1 nap a day. And you'll see something that's really powerful that happens right around 18 months old, is you'll have just that 1 nap a day. Usually it's midday, and it's anywhere between 1.5 to 2.5 hours. And all of a sudden you've freed up some more time. And if you can go back to remember when I said we calculate sleep in a 24-hour period, if this baby is a 14-hour sleeper and we're taking 2.5 hours in the daytime, we get to give that sleep back to the nighttime. So a lot of your 18-month-old babies will take 1 nap a day, and instead of sleeping 10-hour nights anymore, now we're sleeping 12-hour nights. Now we're sleeping 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. or 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. You get some sleep given back to the nighttime from the daytime because you don't need it in the daytime anymore. They can maintain their energy on their own. They're very, very active, so they need more awake hours so that they can explore and they can move their bodies and they can learn new things because they are like a vacuum sucking information in. So the time that you'll start to see 12-hour nights is usually over 18 months old. It pairs really well with the melatonin hormone being naturally produced on its own. So melatonin hormone will be produced at a young age for a baby, but most of it is coming through mama's breast milk. So it takes some time for them to hormonally produce that all by themselves, and that's somewhere around 18 months old. And then they get to take those 1 nap a day and the 1 solid sleep at nighttime. But that means from 4 to 6 months old, we're sleeping 10-hour nights, all the way to 18 months old, we're sleeping 11, 12-hour nights. But that nighttime sleep has remained the same. Your daytime sleep is like, so it's stressful and it's kind of agonizing if you're trying to track it and keep it organized. It's just like the chaos of the first 3 weeks of a baby's life, where it's like every time I think I have a schedule, it changes. Every time you think you have naps figured out, they're going to change because developmentally they hit these milestones where they have different needs in the daytime, and those naps are accommodating those needs. At 6 months old, they need more floor time. So how can they sleep 4 or 5 naps a day, 45 minutes all day? They need structured floor time where they are mastering their limbs, they're moving their body, they're trying to inch their bodies forward, they're sitting up with structure, and they have a lot of core strengths. That's normal that the daytime nap sleeps to accommodate that. Same thing happens around 9 months old when we really reduce naps down, and we're down to just those 2 naps a day because our body needs to grow and develop, and now they want to socialize. At 9 months old, they want to talk, they want to engage, they're looking at you and they're laughing at things you say, and they might not have the words to say it back, but that's developmentally where their brain is at. So they can't have all day nap times, and they can't have too many daytime hours because they need to A, have some for rest and repair sleep at night, and B, they've got to socialize. They're trying to communicate and talk to you and see what this whole world's all about. And then 18 months old, they are moving. So they are walking and running and they're digging their hands in the dirt and they're doing all these fun things. they only have time to crash for that one nap and then jump up and do it again. So their energy spurts are huge, 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 and then they crash, and then they jump up and they huge energy until bedtime again. But at the same time with nighttime sleep, how we track it, following those 3 developmental stages of circadian rhythms and following how a baby is developmentally ready to sleep at nighttime, as in they're taking a step forward and you're following them. That's the same for daytime sleep. They take a step forward developmentally, and we're just trying to better understand how to follow them. So when supporting your baby's sleep, just make sure that you're looking at where they're at in their age and stage for development, and how can you best support them at that age and stage. And I'll talk about sleep regressions. I'm going to do a separate topic on sleep regressions because it definitely helps understanding why my 4-month-old was sleeping through the night and then isn't. Why my 6-month-old is constantly fidgeting and moving in the night. Why my 8 or 9-month-old is waking up and looking around the room and just scared when I leave the room, and why do they reach out for me anytime they can't see me. There's a developmental graduation in their brain at each one of those stages that tells you why they're doing that. So I'll do sleep regressions next. I'll schedule it a little bit later this week. But if you have nap questions, just message them below. I'll answer them. If you want to give me what your baby's doing for nighttime sleep and daytime sleep and have me analyze it, I'm happy to do that. But if you can, for a moment, just take all of your intellect away. Take everything that you're trying to understand for structure and timing and daytime, and just watch and observe your baby. They will communicate it to you. It's just not going to be verbal. And if you need a baby translator like me to put words to their nonverbal communication, I'm happy to help you out and let you know this is what your baby's trying to say to you. This is where they're at developmentally. But you can do that. You have every bit of the intuition to do it. Just take everything you've read, heard, and put aside, and then just watch them and see what they do, and they will tell you. That's what I've got today for naps. My biggest takeaway from today is try anything hard that you're working on only one time a day so that you don't overwhelm yourselves or your babies. That would be 1 nap a day in the crib. And that's the same thing with babies learning to roll over and learning to move those new stages before you pull the swaddle. If you have 5-6-month-old baby, I usually try an observed belly nap once a day, where I will be right next to him. It's a safe sleep space. They're sleeping on a flat surface. There's no swaddle involved. You're letting them practice 15, 20, 30 minutes on a belly nap, and then before they start to roll and move at nighttime, they've had some practice to know how to get in and out of that position on their own. So I hope that didn't mute out. I had a call come in. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good day. That's what I've got for naps. I'll wait for questions below and I'll answer them as they come in. This is Rachelle from Maternal Instincts, and I am your baby sleep expert on all things from birth to about 18 months old. Have a great day.